Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I have Los Angeles. What up, man?
What's going on with you, Dusty? My good friend.
Yeah, man. Long time coming, man. Long time coming. Appreciate you joining the show, man. Let's before we jump into your music and your journey through music, I would love to get to know, Floss, go way back in the day. So let's go back before music, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
Man, I grew up off of Inglewood, California, born and raised, with the Catholic school, the majority of my life, just LA based, you know what I mean? Into hip hop. That's all I know is hip hop, and I'm doing acting right now. I went to Westchester High School, went to Sarah High School. That's basically it,
Okay.
Before music, I was young, 13, 14, and then the music came.
Yeah. Well, let's break it down a little bit. Tell everybody what your experience was like growing up in Inglewood. Let's say in the 90s. Would it be safe to say that was when you were coming up in the 90s?
Like in the late 80s, like the late 80s and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it was gang banged out. It was at its height. LA was treacherous at this time. I was going back from Inglewood to South Central. My family was from Louisiana and stuff like that, and so they migrated to LA. And so, that's where I got all my stuff from. It's basically from LA. I traveled and lived a lot of different places, but LA is my home for sure.
Yeah. Tell us about your upbringing. What was a young Floss like, man?
Oh man, I was in the sports. I was in the sports, and I can recall just coming home from school, and when I would come home, I would take off my shoulder pads from playing football and stuff, and I would hit right to the radio, and I would turn it to 1580 K-Day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was basically the only channel that I knew that was playing rap at that time. So, I got a dose of N.W.A. and Eazy-E and, Mixmaster Spade and Toddy T and the Wrecking Crew, everybody, I was taught all these things. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the music is definitely in me. Not knowing that 25, 30 years later that I would be on Eazy-E's record, Impact of a Legend.
That's right. We're going to get to that for sure, because that's an amazing feat just in itself amongst everything else you've been through with this music game. But tell us about the good, the bad, and the ugly about growing up in Inglewood.
Oh man, it was gang affiliated. My people kept a tight niche on me. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. My grandmother raised me. My mother and my grandmother raised me. So, my grandmother, she ruled with an iron fist. So the gang banging and hanging out and going on the next blocks and all that type of stuff, that wasn't going on. So by the fact of having me in the house all the time, my uncles and my mom and all the rest of them, they had their 45s. You know what I'm saying? So we would sit up, me and my cousin, that's rest in peace now, but we would sit up and listen to all these songs from Joe Tex and Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway, all these songs and music. So for some reason, man, I thought about this the other day. I was just like, it seems like that you're put on this world and you're playing a part of something. You don't know it yet until you start getting older. That your life is already played out. It's already scripted out. You're just playing the part of it. You know what I mean? So I look back at it like my grandmother being hard on me had me being in the house, had me not a gang affiliated, and had me on a whole nother path just listening to music. And so, at that time, my cousin, Big Ron, I'm sure, I think Alonzo might know my cousin, Big Ron, because he was Eazy's personal bodyguard.
Okay.
At the house in N.W.A. And so, at first when he started bodyguard,
before he's met. Does he have
Ron
a brother?
Scoggins?
Yes, sir. He has. Yeah.
Yep. They were big in Inglewood. Ron Scoggins, Eric Scoggins, they all played. My cousins played for professional football for the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, the 49ers. So, a lot of the a lot of the football players after football, they become bodyguards. You know what I'm saying? And so when my cousin would be on tour, before he got with Eazy, he was bodyguard LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, and Run DMC. So he would send all that memorabilia and they merches and stuff to us as kids. So it turned me all
dope, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, man. I know when I was a kid, if I could get my hands on anything related to hip hop, it was just amazing. I would have friends in other cities, in other states, and even family members, and they would send me tapes of what was cracking in their city. It was shit I'd never heard. I mean, Outkast was one of the first people I heard from an outside source. I mean, Mystical from Louisiana, like places like that. So I remember what it was like to get your hands on something, some memorabilia, anything, a T-shirt, swag, anything.
Yeah, especially at that time, and he sent the whole Run DMC sweatshirt, and the autograph by LL Cool J. That's who basically put the battery in my back was LL Cool J. When I saw LL come out and he was 18, and that's why I say up to date, not taking nothing away from a lot of these rappers, but to this day I can still remember lyrics, whole songs from LL Cool J that I can recite. I can't remember anybody's stuff from right now.
That's facts, dude. LL is one of the greats, man. He transitioned, he transcended from hard ass lyrics to when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and I'm like, damn, this dude is sick. I was fucking with LL Cool J back in the day for sure, man.
He was it, man.
Yeah, you mentioned N.W.A, you mentioned Eazy-E earlier. What were your thoughts? Because that was what got me into hip hop, was N.W.A and Eazy-E. Just, I mean, I obviously heard rap songs before that, Fat Boys, Run DMC, but what really was like, okay, I need more of this, was Eazy and N.W.A. What were your thoughts when you first heard gangster rap or reality rap, and they were talking about stuff that you were personally seeing going on in your neighborhood, even though you weren't actively doing it, you were seeing some of the stuff? Yeah,
I've seen it, and then I must say this is crazy shit right here. Too Short, N.W.A, the explicit lyrics and all that. I believe that these cats is rich because of parents. See, when I bought N.W.A, my mother was like, let me hear it again. And then she took it out and then she would throw it out the window. She's like, let's see if the streets feel it. You know what I'm saying? So I done bought N.W.A and Too Short at least 6 times a piece. Because my mom would find it and throw it away, you know what I mean? Or she'd throw it out the window or whatever. But when I first heard N.W.A, it was like, they was like reporters. They were like reporters of the street, that was telling what was going on. I didn't really look at it as like, some of the stuff they were saying and doing for me to go and mimic and do it. We already knew that, that's the difference between the rappers now and the rappers back then. We already knew that, you can't really go out there and go do all this stuff and then be free. You're going to jail. Right. You know what I mean? So, it was like entertainment. It was like the world was boring until N.W.A came, and Big Ron would, not only would he would send us memorabilia, man, he would have me and he would take me down to the studio in Torrance where N.W.A recorded. Yeah. Audio sound. All that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so I would be up there, man, and I have a lot of like bomb memories with Eazy-E that I never really told anybody. Eazy was cool, man. Eazy was hella cool. And after my cousin would bring me to the studio to meet them, I'm like 14, 15. You know what I mean? So when I would see Eazy in the street in LA by himself, white BMW, Shark BMW, I would blow the horn, blah, blah, blah. He would always roll down the window like, "You little Ron cousin, huh?" I'm like, yeah. Like I got memories with Eazy, like he would pull up to the video shoot. We was at Miss Chalet's video shoot when she was with David Peaston, If We Make Love video shoot. And Eazy would pull up and he would give us his keys, let us sit in his truck. So the first thing I did was, when he had a dually, like the truck, the dually, I would get in his car. The first thing I would do was I would look at his CDs to see what he played, what kind of stuff Eazy-E would play. I seen Rolls Royce. He would play, he had a lot of his N.W.A stuff, but I seen like Rolls Royce. I looked at the stuff like that wasn't rap. You know what I mean? And Eazy was a cool dude, man. He was hella cool. I wish he was still alive because rap would be different, I think. Take me back to the end days of Eazy-E, because I cried, man. I was such a big fan that, March 94, which damn, we're already coming up to almost the 29th anniversary of his passing. But take me back to when you found out, because that was one of the first, big deaths in hip hop. A couple years later, we unfortunately had Pac and Biggie, and then now the list just goes on and on and on. But take me back to when you remember about Eazy-E passing. I was when Eazy-E passed, This was like what, 95 or something. I think 95, 90, 95.
Yeah, it was
I think
95. You're right. Yeah, I think March
95.
95, if I'm not mistaken.
I was in the studio with D-Mac and Laylaw. Rest in peace to my dude Laylaw. Rest in peace. I was in the studio with Law, and I'll never forget. He had got that call. Hey, man, I'm about to get out of here. I gotta go. Easy did. And I'm like, what? We couldn't believe it, But at this moment, I must say this, that AIDS has been around for quite some time now. So we've seen people who had it and died and passed and all that. I still say that Eazy-E was the only person I've ever seen that died so fast from that. Right. See, my birthday is in a couple of days, March 13th. So that's the reason why I remember when Eazy died. It was so vivid to me because it was around my birthday. And so I looked at it. I'm like, that's strange, man. Eazy-E had just as much money as Magic Johnson and all the rest of them, if not more. Mm-hmm. Why is he, whoever, I feel like a conspiracy, like somebody had gave that to him. Like, he just didn't die from that, bro. Something happened to where, I seen that, Ruthless Records was making $10 million a month, and he had that contract with Dre and all of that kind of stuff, contract on Dre. It just seems like, without putting anybody's name out there, it just seems kind of fishy to me, man. Yeah. It don't seem like, especially of the people of today that having AIDS and stuff, they're living longer. The medicines were different at that time, but still in all, Magic Johnson's still here.
Yep. Yep. And you're not the first. You're not the first to say that, man. Alonzo is one of my really good friends, and he believes that something fishy happened, and a lot of people that I do. I mean, because let's go back to those days, man. I remember they were pumping AIDS down our throat back in the 80s and early 90s, right? And we saw like people like Liberace, that motherfucker lived for a few years, like other people were living for a few years, but Eazy literally died right away. And a lot of people say that there was a letter that I think his attorney read it on 92.3 or something like that, and everybody was like, "That's not Eazy's voice. That's not how Eazy would talk." You know what I mean? He
don't talk like that. He didn't talk like that. I don't know, man. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot, and I've been around a lot. And after my group was the Himalayas. I was signed to Randy Phillips of AEG. They had a label called Red Ant Entertainment. And so, we went on tour with Exhibit and all that type of stuff. Then I left that group, and then I went back solo. And so when I went back solo, I got with Rhythm D. Big up to Rhythm D.
Producer, Real Motherfucking G's, amongst a lot of other classics.
Yeah, he did my debut album, Los Angeles. And so, I tell this all the time. Like, when I was coming out, a lot of people haven't heard of me, but they heard of me, but they haven't seen me a lot. I haven't really been, seen a whole bunch as I should.
I known your name. That's why when you were telling me how it was pronounced, I was like, no, I know the name for sure, because I've seen your name for 20 plus years, probably just on random projects.
Right, but you never, I don't know what it was going on. I got into some trouble too, and then, but I wanted to say too. I know Lonzo's gonna hear this. See, I'm from an old school thing. Even though I'm younger, I'm still from an old school type of thing, because all my other my people that watched over me were older. So I wanted to ask Lonzo, does he remember a club that was out a long time ago? I was way too young to get into it, but my mom used to date Muhammad Ali's brother, Omar. And so it was a club called Jackie O's from back in the day. And I think it was off of La Cienega near Beverly Hills or something. I wanted to see now. And see if he remember a club called Jackie O's. When I say that, then it's Reed's Hideaway and the Carolina West and all this stuff. I know this is Lonzo's, era. So that's why I wanted to ask him that. But
I'm gonna ask him right now, and hopefully he gets back to us on the within the next hour. If not, we'll talk about it on Tuesday for sure.
but yeah, man, I've been around a lot, and then after while I was with the Himalayas, we had signed to Ice-T. He had signed us, and the label was called Coroner. It was called Coroner Records, and so I was there when he got the call to be on Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and so. He had called me down there. He was like, Floss, get down here. I want to talk to you. I want to see you. So I'm like, okay, what Ice want? So I get down there, and he has his chair turned to where his back is towards me. So when he turned around, his hair was cut off. He had cut his hair off. Mm-hmm. I was like, what make you cut that? the hair, your hair off.
That money,
and
baby.
He was like, let me tell you something, Floss. I'll cut the hair off around my nuts for $500,000 an episode.
Woo.
I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So, I went down to when he got the star the other week. I went down there and seen him and all that. I'm proud of dude. I'm proud of dude because he's a good dude. And at the same time, if you in this industry, a lot of people will tell you, if you in this industry and you is around in this circle and you trying to do this and you trying to get into it and you feel like you have the talent, Ice-T will help you.
Mm.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude, man. He's a remarkable person. And
I want to talk about earlier you mentioned something, and I know this because I listened to a couple of your interviews to prepare, but he was also involved in sort of a way in I guess helping you get out of trouble, or you were one of the first people he caught. In 2000, you were caught with 50 plus pounds of marijuana on a federal plane. Now, before we even get to that, like the ending of that, can you take us back, like what was going on in your life at that time to where you ended up taking 50 pounds of weed on a plane?
Man, what was going on at the time, we were signed to Red Ant, and I just, when you're on a label, when, they're just a label and they don't know what the fuck they talking about. And they're just a label, a business. They don't really, in the hip hop, they know it's making money, but they not really, ride or die for it. And so I felt like I wasn't getting the payment that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I wasn't getting the money. I was hustling to get more money than doing music. But music was my love. You know what I'm saying? So, I was, God has stopped me, man. I'm just going to keep it all the way 100. God has stopped me. And the reason why I know there is a God and God has stopped me is because I'll take you on a scenario. I've been doing it. I went in New York in 1999. I went to New York 10 times, over 10 times, back and forth on the plane, getting money. And so this one particular time I was on there, I was just like, for some reason, I got this feeling like something was up. So when I got on the plane, I didn't sit in my assigned seat. I sat in the seat next to my seat. So when I'm in the airport about to board, I see these three people. And it was a white guy, a Spanish guy, and it was a Puerto Rican chick. Now, when you're in the airport, you know that nobody cares about what you're doing. Everybody's worried about their flight, their luggage, and all this stuff. So some told me I had to stop for maybe 10 seconds, and I just was peeping them, and I was looking at them. And I was like, man, I felt this before, so maybe I'm just wrong. So everybody knows I don't drink. So every time I would go and go do this shit, I would go take me a double shot of Grand Marnier and be loaded on the plane and go to sleep by the time I wake up. I'm in New York. So when I sat in the not assigned seat, I see the lady come on the plane. And so she's looking. So I'm like, oh, I must be sitting in your seat. She was like, nah, I'm with the DEA. And I'm like, oh, shit. Ooh. She was like, can I look at your bag? And I was like, you're going to look at it anyway. You know what I mean? So the reason why I say there is a God, because they could have easily let me go and let me fly. And every time that you pass over a city and state, it's a penal code. So by the time you get to your destination, they're going to charge you with every state that you flew over. Right. And so that means I would probably have to go to Sing Sing or Rikers Island, which is one of my fears in life. So that's why I knew it was a God. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother, she just passed. She was 104 when she just passed a couple of months ago. Oh, wow. And that was the only part that really bothered me, is that I had my grandmother see me in a certain light that she had never seen me before. You know what I'm saying? So I had vowed never to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And this is over 20 some years ago. So I vowed never to get in trouble and look like that no more. But the reason why I did that is because I wasn't getting the money I felt like I deserved. While I'm on this platform, I can speak about the fact that I did do that Eazy-E record and haven't got my just due and my pay from it, from Tamika Wright. You know what I'm saying? There's people in this game that you work hard and you put your life on the line to do these things, and people don't pay you. So that was the reason why I was being mischievous and doing the things that I was doing. But God is a good God, because he had caught me. He had caught me before I really had to go do some real time. And so people were like, well, Floss, how you get out so fast? So for the record, my aunt, she worked for the state public defenders downtown in L.A., and people that she knew that were attorneys at the time. She was a supervisor. So they're judges now. So they wrote me letters of recommendation, and that's how I got out.
Nice. And fuck the street code. Street code is pretty much dead anyway. So you don't have, in my opinion, you don't have to explain yourself, because it sounds like you wanted to explain yourself to people on how you got out so fast, so they don't call you a snitch or whatever.
Yeah. You know, they own that, but at the same time, I could have went to anybody else that had a record deal at that time that was out would have told. I took that case, and the reason, and when I took that case, got it. You know what I mean? And so Ice-T was one of the first people that I spoke to when I got in trouble, and he was like, you know what, Floss, you're gonna get out. I know you're gonna get out, and when you get out,
you do a great Ice-T, by the way.
Man, I'm telling you, like, make sure that you get here, and when you get out, I want you to come see me. He gave me a tongue lashing of a lifetime, but I couldn't do nothing but respect it because I knew I was wrong. You didn't have to do that. You could have came to me, and I was just like, oh, I understand, Ice, but you know, you're not the solution to everybody, you know, to my problems. You know, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? That's why I look out. That's why I big him up, man, because he was there when nobody was there for me. You know what I mean? So, you know, big up to Ice-T.
You were good friends with the late Gonzo, who lyrically was ill. Just his personality, he could have been the biggest YouTuber of all time. He had it, man. From what I was seeing from the outside in, he had it. Can you talk to us about your relationship with Gonzo and tell us what you know about what happened that led to his untimely death?
Gonzo was, man, hilarious. He would get you. It's funny because I almost lost my life a couple of times with Gonzo because he was a hothead. He would say certain things to a group of people and not care. But as far as his internet shit, he had told me this. When I seen him on the internet, I was like, yo, he is bugging. Like, I could not believe some of the stuff that he was saying. Like, he was dissing E40. He was dissing the Outlaws. He was dissing, man, he was dissing everybody under the sun. And so we had fell out for a while. You know, me and Gonzo had fell out for a while over some scandalous shit he had did. And then years had went by, and then we had seen each other on the internet. And then we had squashed everything and we became cool. And so I asked him, I was like, what is you doing? Like, why are you doing this? He was like, you still don't get it, huh, Floss? You still don't get it, huh? And I'm like, what? He was like, you done been to all the parties, you done been to all this shit, and you not on the internet sharing your stories and talking about some of these things. And I'm like, to me, it seemed messy what he was doing, but what he was doing was grasping everybody in. He was making everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is this one person dissing everybody? And so now I understand what he was doing. But as far as his demise, I don't know what made Gonzo move to Seattle. And I'm going to keep it 100. You know, whatever something goes on somewhere and people want to know what's going on, there's people that actually see what's going on, but they're just not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? And so what the word that I got was that it was over abroad. It was over some broads, but he was gangbanging. Gonzo was out there gangbanging out there in Seattle. And, you know, he had just did that boxing thing with Bosco 100. Him and I think Snoop and Too Short had put something together with Trilla to where, you know, the hands up, guns down. And so it was sad because right after Gonzo had got that bag and he had got custody of his son, and, you know, he was trying to do the right thing and he was speaking good and all of that, this happened to him. But I heard that Gonzo had pushed the envelope to these Bloods out there. It was at some bowling alley where everybody go to out there in Seattle. And he kept reaching in his bag. That's what somebody had told me from out there. I ain't gonna say who they are, but he was like, Gonzo kept reaching in his bag, and the older guys that was there, that was Bloods, they was just peeping him, but they really wasn't moving on him like that. But the youngsters, the young Bloods that was with the older guys, that's who they had pulled out a gauge and shot Gonzo. You know, I knew him because I was on the Caution album, Murdering, Slanging, and Scrapping. And at that time, I was signed to Lay Law. And that's when Cube used to have street knowledge over there off of Florence, near Crenshaw, right around the corner. And so, I met him from that. And so we just became cool. And plus, they was on the Law House Experience. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that was on that record, we all, got close and cool. We didn't know each other. We got close and cool. And I had moved to Atlanta and stuff like that. And we had fell out. But, that's neither here nor there how we fell out. But you know what? He was talented. He was dope. He was turned up. He was opinionated. He didn't care. You know what I mean? I do miss him. He was a good dude. At the end of the day, I don't want to see nobody lose their life. So I don't know, man. I felt like he could have. You're right. He could have been bigger, but Cube wasn't having that. Cube wasn't having. Gonzo and them that went on the Death Row Christmas tour or something like that, and so that's how you got those songs with Pop and stuff. And Cube, if anybody, if you really know Cube don't want none of that. He don't want none of that funk. He don't want no dramas. He don't want none of that shit. He just want to concentrate on the money. And Gonzo had, I think he had got managed by Sharita.
Oh, nice.
Sharita Knight. And so when he signed that, they of course Suge and them want him to come to be on tour with him and do all this type of stuff. And that's the reason why Caution fell to the wayside, because Cube wasn't having that.
I always wondered, because they were a talented group, and that album was sick. That opening single was everything. Should I ride with the red or should I ride with the blue? And
I was in that video. I was in that video.
That's why I'm saying I've always seen, even you're on the album as well, right? You said?
Yep, on the album.
I've always seen your name around it. Just never. It's crazy how after researching you over the past couple of days, it's like, damn, dude, you're like, and I say this respectfully. Have you ever seen Forrest Gump? They call it the Forrest Gump of some. Like, you're like the Forrest Gump. You were always around during major shit, man. That's
major shit.
That's dope, dude. I want to bounce around a little bit. R.I.P. Gonzo, man. But you talked about talking shit, dissing everyone, and you've made comments about someone who disses everyone today, and I'm talking about Charleston White. Before we go on to that, I know you do a lot of content on YouTube. Tell everybody where they can find you, because I see you do live videos all the time, and you're sharing your thoughts on certain topics.
You can find me on Bout That Online, BOUTDA online, and my platform is based out of Europe. He's in Europe. My homeboy Fonzie Newton, he's out of Europe. Man, Charleston White. I start to really look at him, but really, Charleston White, he's a sucker. He's a bona fide sucker. The new thing that I'm on right now is this Hassan Campbell.
Man,
now he's a sucker. Now he just went and did some whack shit and put LL Cool J and Ice-T.
Yeah, he said Ice-T and LL Cool J were molested by Africa Bambaataa. Anyone who doesn't know the Hassan Campbell, because not everybody's following his movement on my channel, but I used to support Hassan Campbell 100% back in like maybe 15, 16, 17, right when he first came out, and Star Report put the whole story out about Africa Bambaataa. I had a couple people from the Zulu Nation on my show sharing their thoughts, and I was always supportive of dude, but he lost me, man, when he started cussing out Jack in the Box workers or Burger King workers and saying he's a big YouTuber, and he changed his whole platform, and I felt it was very disrespectful. Whatever the truth is, you shouldn't put other people's business out there. He said Q-Tip, he said LL Cool J, and he said Ice-T were all molested. Were molested by Africa Bambaataa. All right, share your thoughts now that we're in this subject, dog. I got to hear what Floss has to say.
Man, he's a sucker. First of all, it sent black people back 500 years for him saying something like that. Everybody in the game, even if you don't know Ice-T personally, you know that he don't come from that cloth. You don't never hear nothing bad about Ice-T. It's all respect. You know what I'm saying? And so, he's not going to reply to it. He's not going to respond to it. I already know what his get down is. He ain't going to respond to it if he even knows about it. But I told him I got time to do it. I got time to serve this sucker. It's Charleston White. I look at him somewhat different is because of the fact of Charleston White. Now, I think this may be his narrative. I don't know. But I feel like, on YouTube, the more messy you are, People like mess. People like drama.
Oh, of
People like
course,
to hear
dog.
that.
That's why I haven't
They
blown up
love
like a
that.
motherfucker. Like,
Right. So
I know the
when you,
secret ingredient to blowing up is doing that dumb bullshit, but I'm not gonna. I
that,
gotta
that,
look myself
that
in the
nigga
mirror.
shit, the
That
gorilla
nigga
monkey
shit,
shit.
exactly. Thank you.
But the fact of it is that Charleston White, you'll see him say something way out. Like his recent narrative is New York. He did this to all the New York people, Puerto Ricans, and everybody under the sun. But he still tries to come out and say something that's positive that we somewhat need to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
That's why I fucked with them at the beginning as well. Keep it going.
Is he doing this because he's trying to get the bag, but then feel bad about how he's coming? And so basically, I'm like, okay, you saying this? Maybe it's the fact that he's like, I know they trying to make me say all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna say something positive. I'm gonna say all this nigga gorilla monkey shit, so I can have another avenue to speak positively. But I don't know, man. It's not that important to me to sit up there and talk bad about Nipsey Hussle and say fuck Gonzo and fuck Nipsey Hussle and everybody under the sun just for these likes. For these bags, you risking your life because these people, Dusty, they not up on it like we up on it. There's people that just listen to this. They don't know really that this is like WWF somehow.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I say that all the time in my head. YouTube is like WWF, dog. In this corner, Hassan Campbell. In this corner, Charleston White. And it's all fake, dog. If they saw each other in person, nothing would most likely happen.
But see, a person that doesn't know about this, that's just a listener that doesn't know this is like WWF. These people will go and blow your whole head off because they respect and love somebody.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part.
Yeah, them suckers, they only gonna last for so long. But we know how to deal with Charleston White. All you gotta do is ignore him. Same thing that made him famous. You do the same shit, just ignore him, and his narrative will go away. But to diss Ice-T, you going too far. Even Charleston White ain't did that.
Man. You know, in late 2019 or early 2000, it was definitely about 3 years ago, before Charleston White was even a name. I had him on my show. I interviewed him for about an hour. Before all these antics, I just caught wind of him. I was just like, there's this black dude out there who says he's a former Crip. That's kind of what, got me. But he's speaking some knowledge. He was speaking some shit. He's like, okay, this dude is actually saying some shit. So I was like, let me invite him on my show. If anybody goes back, all you have to do is type in Dusty Vision Charleston White, and you could see the date. It was like early 2000 or late 2019 or something like that. But it's not this Charleston White we're hearing right now. It's not at all. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere along the lines, yeah, that internet fame or whatever, and it was a done deal when he said what he said about Nipsey Hussle. I was just like, all right, I can't fuck with this guy. You know what I mean? So the fame is probably the biggest drug right now, dog, or clout, as they say. It's bigger than fucking fentanyl. It's like people want that clout, man.
They want it, and they'll do anything to get it. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Only time I'm gonna speak on something like that is if you directly hit me directly and hitting it and talking about Ice-T is definitely a direct hit to me because he signed me. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man, you just don't do that. You gotta have some kind of couth about yourself. You know what I mean? Radio couth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I dig y'all show. That's why I gravitate to y'all show because y'all older. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to find out the shit that I'm about to go through. Alonzo and y'all both got you don't even know you got the answers. It's like some of the things that y'all speak on. I'll be like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like straight up game. Like how Alonzo talk about credit. This the biggest thing in the world is credit, is getting your credit right.
Man, you ain't lying. Thank you, man, for that, dude, by the way, because I learned so much from doing this show with Alonzo, man. He's a mentor to me, and he drops game, dude. Before we move on from this topic, all right, you're on a ship, and two people are drowning in the sea, Charleston White and Hassan Campbell, and you have to save one. Who are you letting drown and why?
I'm gonna say Charleston White. I'm gonna say Charleston White because I feel like it would be entertaining to see how he really is. You know what I'm saying? Personally, you got the internet Charleston White, then you got the real Charleston White. You know what I mean? I would just want to ask some questions. What's your angle, brother? Why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? And why aren't you? How come you're not having your own platform so you can speak how you want to speak? You know what I'm saying? I think he does have his own show. I'm sure, or something. You know, I just feel like Hassan Campbell. If I seen him drowning, I'll pour water on him. If I see him drowning, I pour water on him. You know what I mean? But Charleston White, he's more. Even I don't care for his ethics. He's more intriguing. He would be more that I feel like I can reach and I can speak to him and he can understand. And he'll tell me his real narrative. Other dude, there's no hope for him.
There it is. There it is. Let's talk about this generation, man. This hip hop generation. I want to talk from someone who's been in the game for, you know, a few decades, such as yourself. But today it's interesting, man. This generation is a trip, man. Seems like, you know, they're all on drugs, every kind of drug you could imagine. They're all snitching on themselves by flashing guns in their videos and saying what they really do in rap songs, and the feds are piecing this together and arresting them, giving them RICOs. I mean, every other week we're getting a new RICO case put on a rap crew. What are your thoughts on this generation of rap, and most specifically about them snitching on each other? And, you know, this, are you familiar with the whole YSL thing and YSL Woody? YSL Woody's been snitching for like 11 years, dog, on Young Thug, who's took him all around the world and probably got him sleep with some of the most beautiful women. But talk about loyalty, talk about this new generation, man.
You know, snitching always been around. What they don't understand is police will use snitches. Of course they will, so they can find out what's going on. But at the end of the day, that police don't like snitches either. They don't care for snitches. They don't care about nobody telling on somebody else doing something else that you was doing too. You know what I'm saying? That you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. I just don't understand why they would get record deals to get money to do wrong things. Like, that's when you're supposed to stop. You know, even though I'm from Inglewood and I come from, you know, that side, you know, I come from all that. Still and all, you don't never hear none on none of my music saying nothing with nothing negative on it as far as no gangbanging. It's because that was my scapegoat. I'm like, if I'm going through this now, why bring this shit with me when I go to the city and states and perform? Like, that's when you're supposed to. I think that's the reason why I got most of the deals that I got, you know, in life and doing music, is because I would never project the gangbang. You know, I knew them all. I know all of them. I used to work for Big U and all that. You know, I knew Nipsey very well. I knew all these people, you know, and they knew I was from Inglewood, and they knew I wore a blood jacket. I come from Inglewood, but I just never projected that. And these youngsters, they making more money than we did ever.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I kind of feel like the basketball players, like Will Chamberlain and all the Bill Russell and all them. And then
$500,000 a year. Meanwhile, 30 years later, you know, you got $50 million contracts.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, we was out. See, when anything that's built that you're trying to build, it's going to be hard at first, you know, and the second generation are always going to get the accolades and, you know, from it. But I love hip hop. I don't give a fuck if I'm 80 years old. I'm gonna still be doing hip hop. I'm always gonna have a dope verse or freestyle or something. I vowed that to myself when I did this. You know, of course I'm gonna do other things, but, you know, I don't know, man. All this killing, all this shooting, for what? You know what I'm saying? But for what? You know, once it's over, it's over. You know, out of all that gangbanging and all that, you know, during the times that we was growing up in hip hop, none of these rappers was dying like that.
Yep.
They wasn't.
Yeah,
they wasn't dying.
Eazy-E was one of the first ones. We talked about that earlier, man. Every once in a while you had a freak accident, you know, Scott LaRock or whoever the case, but, you know, yeah, you're right. To this consistent too, dog. It's like, at one point it seemed like every other month. I mean, shit, PNB Rock, Draco, FBG Duck, King Von, Slim 400. I could literally go down the list, and it all happened within like a 2-year period.
And who comes up? Matter of fact, they have a video on YouTube, like 200 rappers that's dead. You can watch the whole shit. Wow. 200. Wow, girls, guys, everything. And it kind of seems like, you know, if you sign to a label, you know, you're not gonna always like your label. That they even though they may not even like you. You know what I'm saying? But they know your music is popping, and so you could be in that label acting a fool or acting stupid, And guess what? These labels got money. You don't think they got shooters? You don't think they know? You don't think they know some people that can take your ass up out of here and they go get all the residuals and all that? You worth more dead than alive.
Are you familiar or have you heard? And I think it was Crazy Bone who probably made this become public and everybody started researching it. But early 90s, there was allegedly a secret meeting between music executives and the prison system. And if you go back and remember the late 80s, it was all, it was house party. It was bright colors. It was dance. It was fun. It was let's have a good time. Heavy deep doing backflips on shit and stuff like that. And then somehow it just transitioned into the G-funk and the gangster and the slow groove. And now everybody's wearing baggy pants. No matter if you're a gangster or not, you're dressed like what you see on Dr. Dre's latest video. But apparently there was a meeting between execs and prison systems to push this gangster agenda, so to help out the prison system and to get more people into prison. Have you heard about this? Are you familiar with it? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yep, I heard about it. That narrative of first of all, they was making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off gangster rap. Period. But what people don't know is that do you know that they selling rap music in prison?
Talk to me.
Did you know they selling it? Like if they pass by your cell and they put your food up in there, or you can, they put the book lady will come, or you can choose a book or whatever. They selling rap in there. The prison system is making money off of rap. Period. Point blank. And they like, okay, all right, cool. Good. All right. Niggas because they know the statistics of who's going to jail, how much people is going to jail, all of that. And they looked at it ever since gangster rap came out. It went all the way up because why would you think that they, let's like the Grammys, like, you know what I mean? Like I looked at the Grammys too. I'm like, okay, it should have been way bigger than this. And how come we don't have the money to do a couple of the Grammy celebrations? It should have been several.
South version.
Man, what's going on? But as far as those record companies, just like the black record company owners, the J Princes, the Herb Gottis, and the rest of them who own these labels, they all try to get together and have a big distribution company to where, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to deal with the people who really don't care about rap. And that's when they came and served.
The feds got it. Yep. And this is the feds saying this, Negroes, you ain't doing that shit.
Right. Because where we going to be at? Where we going to be if y'all get together and do some shit? Just like they talking about the black woman train and all that kind of stuff. See, what the thing is, they keep us separate. Then they know we smart enough. They know we got the know-how. They know we got the smart dummies. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no respect. And I think that's the reason why there's so much killing going on with, it's like, why, if you really look at it, why everybody else has a leader that can lead them. But every time we get a leader, they get shot down.
A good leader at that. We got a bunch of people faking to be leaders right now, but when we get a good leader, he's gone. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Tupac, you know what I mean? People like
down to Nipsey.
We got a bunch down to Nipsey, but we got a bunch of, in my opinion, goofballs like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson running around calling themselves black leaders. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day.
Yeah, but the racist white people is the one who chose them being black leaders.
Thank you, dog.
We didn't choose anybody to become a black leader. Right.
White people trip on this. White people choose what to call us. Okay, from the 50s to 60s, we're going to call them Negroes. From the 70s, we're going to call them blacks. Like the white people are picking all of this shit. They're picking our history. They're picking all of this, man.
Right. And we don't do nothing about it. And so when you look at the people over in Vietnam and those third world countries, they feel sorry for black people. They be said like, we feel sorry for you because you let them to brainwash you and treat you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't have nobody to step up. And Nipsey was going to be the next one. He was going to be the next one to change because people was following him. See, that's the thing. They like, the white people can follow these black artists. That's no problem. But when you got too many people that can follow you, your own people, and you can make a change and a difference, you ain't gonna last long, bro. They gonna gun you down. And that's why you look at Eric Holder. What reason? That man didn't do nothing to you for you to shoot him. And then they said Nipsey's last words was, Man, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me. And he turned back around and came back and kicked him in the head and shot him in the head. It was something, somebody put a narrative in his back. And I'm gonna tell you something else. This is gonna kill you. A friend of when we was Himalayas, we was on Dominique DePrima's streets.
She's a legend in the radio, man.
Right. We was on her radio station and we were talking as Himalayas talking about the DWB law, the driving while black. Okay. And Christopher Darden was on there with us. And so I talked to him every blue moon. But just yesterday, when I seen him on the internet, I asked him this question. He never hit back. I was like, brother, not to disrespect you or be all up in your business, but I need to know who hired you to represent Eric Holder at first. Yeah. Eric Holder don't got no money like that to hire a Christopher Darden.
Yep.
Who sent that? Who got him that lawyer? And so Christopher Darden excluded himself because he said he was getting too many death threats for representing Eric Holder. See what I'm saying? See, something is going on, brother. Something going on.
Man. R.I.P. Nipsey, man. That hurts me. That really hurt me. I once again, I cried. I'm a hip hop fan. I love this shit. I'm not a fan. This is my life. You know what I mean? When I hear dumb shit like that happen, it really fucks with me. But you made it out the other end, man. You survived this crazy ass game. You've been signed. You've been screwed over by labels. You know, you've made it, man. And unfortunately, a lot of rappers don't make it out the other end. I mean, I named a lot earlier who were killed and just, you know, went the drug route and just are unheard of these days. Talk to these other kids. Yeah, I could have. But no, that ain't gonna happen. Give advice to these young kids, man, who are maneuvering through this rap game.
These young Thundercats and you young kids out there, I wouldn't take nothing back. If they told me, Floss, would you do it all over again? Would you say no? I wouldn't because that's the reason why I'm here, to be able to say these words to teach y'all. When your parents tell y'all to stay in school, first of all, you can't be no rapper and you're dumb. You got to know how to. You got to know how to read and spell, read, write, and arithmetic. Reading, writing, arithmetic. What my grandmother used to say. You know, read the fine print. Take the contract and go get an attorney. Go talk to your parents. Go talk. Don't think that you're too cool or your parents is too square to go and talk to them about this situation, because it'll affect your life many years down the line. I'm still fighting to try to get my money. But if I was y'all, you know, if to tell a youngster today, get off the gang banging. You ain't tougher than nobody else. That you know how many people that thought they was tough, they all dead or in jail. You gonna be the next one. Your dumb ass will be the next one. But if you really about this music and nothing could stand in the way of it. Negative to you. Negative that's gonna stop you. You know what I'm saying? If you really about your music, you ain't gonna let nothing stop you. And no matter how long it takes, you gonna get there. People gonna tell you can't do it. People gonna be like, you old nigga, go get a job. All that type of stuff. Now, if you ain't never had nothing out, and you give anything a time period, if it's not popping by a certain time, keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Because you may can go into another field and it coincides with the field that you're trying to still go to. It just didn't come the way you want it to come, but it's still coming. You know what I mean? You can't give up. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that I will say is that if you really concentrating on your music and you really doing this, go find yourself a job. Go get a job.
Be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Be comfortable so you can financially, so you can focus on your art, right? I tell people that all the time.
Go get a job. Go do things that you can do. You know what I'm saying? As well, because music ain't going nowhere. And at the same time, you know, believe in yourself more than anybody that's believing in you. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you know what I'm saying? Who gonna believe in you? This game is to hate on you and make you not want to do it or deter you from doing it. But you know, you have to believe in yourself. Because some people will be like, "Well, shit, he's very confident. Let me hear what he's talking about." You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that he's into himself. I like the fact that, you know, at a time when I was doing music, I used to then listen to nobody and just listen to my shit and get my stuff right. And when I did listen to music, I listened to like Dave Koz. I listened to Donny Hathaway. I listened to Kenny Loggins, Michael Franks. I listened to so many genres of music, and then I would do my rap shit. You know what I mean? So to all you youngsters out there, listen to your parents, go to school, further your education, and go hard as you can on your music, and you'll get there.
Los Angeles. Tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Man, you can find me on Instagram, The Don, Los Angeles, THADON, Los Angeles. Basically, that's where you can find me. I'll be on the gram a lot. You know what I mean? That's where I'll be or YouTube. You know, I guess this is my second round of this entertainment, is to be able to reach and teach, not to preach so much, but to reach and teach. And y'all platform is a mature platform with grown people and grown men. You know, y'all ain't with that monkey shit. You know, if anything, when you tune into y'all station, you can learn something from it. And that's why I gravitate towards y'all. And I was pushing so hard to do the interview. I get invitations to do other people's stuff, but I was like, nah, I like Gonzo, and I like you too, Dusty. Y'all on some grown man shit, and that's what I gravitate towards. So,
Likewise.
You know, big up to y'all.
Likewise, I want to have you back on in the near future, man. Let's definitely make this another time in a couple of months or so, because I feel like we just hit the tip of the iceberg, man. So, and I know you have a great opinion on things, and you're a grown ass man, and you like that grown ass man game. So we're gonna definitely chop it up in a few months, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Tell Gonzo I said what's up.
I will.
And anytime y'all need me, man, I'm here. Just call me.